Hey there, how are you? I'm Alanda. This is me, unscripted, wearing a hairnet over my curlers. You know, you'll wish you could be as sexy as this, don't you? I know you do. I know it looks so funny. And I'm using the pillow curlers right now. I have the sponge curlers too, but I've had these pillow curlers like forever and a day, and I think they're more comfortable. But yeah, so I'll take this off. What I may do is take out my curlers as I talk to you. And I do have on some makeup, lucky you, because hopefully I'll be able to film a video today for my primary channel, which is the Recovering Hunbot. In case you just discovered this channel, it's so flippin' tiny. I'm surprised anyone has found it, but I'm glad you did. If you hear some little tap, tap, tapping, that's Chalupa or Tamale, one of my dogs, you know. And I'm having my coffee. I don't have any more creamer, so this is it. I'm not happy, but not much I can do about it. So, what am I going to talk to you about? Well, since this is unscripted and obviously, nothing is aesthetically pleasing. I'm not some young chick where everything, like there's a bunch of jump cuts and everything. Fanciness. I'm not fancy. I'm just not fancy. And I admire the people who can do that stuff. I don't have the patience or the tolerance to do all of that. I just don't. And so I'm not going to. Oh, it's Tamale Wally. Hi, baby girl. You want to come here? Come here. Come here by mommy. Come over here. Okay, she walks away, but yet, tap, tap, still dances. I was going to have her say hi, but I'm not chasing her. And she loves that. She gets scared sometimes. Oh my gosh, you know what she's scared of? I don't know what to do about this. I got a new water thing for the dogs where there's like a container and it like the water drops down, so it refills itself. She freaks out. I mean, she goes up there and it's like, and then just freaks, and then she goes gets another little sip, freaks. I mean, it's just this ongoing constant freak out, and I don't get it. Chalupa goes up there, absolutely no issue. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but I now took down just a regular bowl and put it down. Of course, Chalupa goes up there. I'm like, it's for your sissy, but in Chalupa's mind, everything's for Chalupa. So what you gonna do? Okay, so yesterday, a couple of things interesting at work happened. We had our huge team meeting, and by that, I guess it's like because we have like multiple departments that are related to training. It's not just like it's this. We have a lot of different components when it comes to learning and development. So lots of people on. And the guy who's over everything is African American, and I've never really met with him before. I mean, he has said my name, he knows who I am, and he approved something that I designed, and I didn't get any feedback. And somebody told me I should wear that as like this, badge, because he always has feedback. So it's like, okay, I guess I did something, and it's like he was like just good with it, which is unusual, I mean, because I appreciate feedback when I'm designing stuff, because you need that to be better. Anyway, so in our meeting, we did our normal kind of things, and there's like birthdays and anniversaries, and we talk about, we have like this a celebration for giving people kudos for their work and stuff. So we do that. I mean, just some real feel good things, and I enjoy that. I think it's really nice to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries. I think it's nice to recognize people for their hard work. And oh, sure, yes, everybody likes money, but it's nice to have some public recognition of like you're appreciated because you did X, Y, and Z. I think that's a good thing. And there's a part of me that when I even use the word recognition, it takes me back to my Beachbody days, because recognition is one of the 4 vital behaviors. And there's something, I just noticed that it's just kind of like rubbing me the wrong way. And I want to be able to recognize people, but it takes me back to that headspace. You see how damaging multi-level marketing is? It fucks you all up in all kinds of ways. I mean, honestly, it does. There's just these, layers, and just, it's It's like it's echoes of the past or something. So anyway, we get finished with all of that, and most people have gone off camera because we all come on camera, and we like have a particular color that we'll wear because it's aligned with our values and all of this stuff. So, and there we are, and he asks everybody to come back on. I was still on camera. As a matter of fact, when I came on camera, I didn't realize I wasn't muted, and I'm going, "Hey, Tamale Wally Doodle," and and somebody finally was like, "Alanda, are you looking for your dog?" I'm like, "Oh crap, everybody can hear my shit." But anyway, so he started the conversation out because apparently there is some leadership, or there's a group of some sort, and I don't remember what they're called, but they're talking about systemic racism. So he started talking about what systemic racism is. And I thought that was really good because, I've heard that phrase, and maybe you have too. And I'm sitting here going, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? How do we break this down? And I guess because I'm a curious cat, I'm an instructional designer, I'm an anthropologist. It's like, I want to know more about this because I want to be able to recognize it if it's happening so that I can adjust myself or maybe bring it to somebody else's attention, And I even think I might even reach out and say, because I really do, I wrestle with this. It's like, I don't, as a white woman, I don't know if I can recognize it. We all have different experiences based on our identities, our gender, our race, just all these different things. And we all enter any experience from our own viewpoint and view everything from our past experiences, our lens. And somebody else's experience can be vitally different than ours. And so to assume everyone has, a similar stance, I think is problematic. But I think it's something that just we do naturally as human beings, All of my life, I've been fascinated by different people, by different cultures, by different belief systems. That's why I collected Bibles as a child, because I wanted to know, why do we have to believe this? Didn't realize I'm getting just King James, I'm getting the same version of the Bible. I had no idea that there were different versions or anything. No idea until I got older. But I have enjoyed studying religion critically because I find belief systems, all kinds of beliefs, utterly fascinating because I want to know, where does it come from? Why? What purpose does it serve? And why is this belief system looked on as better than that one? Because everybody believes that, what they think is accurate in the way, it's like, this is it. But yet there's another group of people like, nope, this is the way. It's very interesting to me, that whole thing, So anyway, after talking about the systemic racism, then he started talking about different things that our company is going to do to start, to be more inclusive and more diverse. Because I think we already had a lot of stuff in place, but now we're going to start celebrating, like, because we're worldwide. And so we're going to start celebrating more cultures, which I'm totally down with that. And also starting conversations. And here's something interesting is there's something going to be created. I don't remember what it's called. Doesn't really matter. But it's something to help us, or will help people through difficult conversations when it comes to all of these problems. Because right now, there's a lot of problems in the world. We're all dealing with the pandemic. And, we all have these different experiences. Some people, are like, wear masks. I'm a wear mask person. Other people are like, don't step on my rights. There's just all these things. And then you throw in the political stuff. There's just so much tension, Excuse me. Not editing that out because I'm not going to be fancy. Sorry, I coughed in your ear, but we're just sitting here having coffee. Maybe should I start taking these down? So anyway, start creating this training that's going to kind of like be like AI, where you're presented with scenarios and you're making choices, and then it's responding to you based on your choices. So you kind of learn in real time what's going on. And I think that's a really good start, you know. It's a small step for one company, but the thing is that even one company starting programs like this, it will ripple out, because we will be able to carry what we learn into the world. At least, you know, theoretically, I would think that would happen, you know? And then, I brought up, because I put in the chat, because one of the things that was not covered is ageism. Now, I talked about ageism over on the Recovering Hunbot because I do feel it here on YouTube, because I'm not a young thing. You know, I'm 56 years old. And so I do feel sometimes that my primary channel, which I'm still a tiny, tiny ass little creator, I mean, I don't feel like I necessarily get the views that if you're someone that's young and, you know, long blonde hair or brown hair or black hair, whatever, I mean, just young and vivacious and thin and this and that and all these things that, you know, people love looking at. You know, who wants to hear an old fart yabber on YouTube? You know, I mean, I don't think of myself as an old fart, but I feel like the algorithm thinks of me as an old fart. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception, but you know, it just seems that way to me, at least. And so ageism, I brought that up because it's on both spectrums. And, you know, I really feel that I can learn so much from someone who's younger than me, because they can help me understand things that, you know, I haven't experienced, especially like with using technology and how certain things work. And my buddy Monica, who is, you know, much younger than me, Monica Simbida, she's also anti-MLM. We talk all the time, and there'll be something and I'll be like, well, what's X? Because it's just not within my experience. And she tells me what it is. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, didn't know. Help me out here, you know. But at the same time, because I do have more life experience, there's things that I can add to the conversation. And I often feel that young people, and this is my perception, young people shut down the views of older people and have no value for it. And I think that's really, really wrong. You know, I mean, I think we can all add something to the conversation. And I think there needs to be conversations that are had. And then, you know, I started thinking about, okay, I'm going to start taking this down so you guys can see what this looks like. Something else that's, I think, kind of related, but not related, but might be related, if you will, is I've been thinking a lot about, there's Tamale again, flex culture, and also, what was it? Oh, flex culture, and what was it? Well, let me just start there, because I'll probably, you know, I'll remember what I was tying this into, because I'm not right now. On the good ship, lollipop, you know, it starts off with like these little sausage curls like this, which I finally got my skipper that has sausage curls. Oh, I love that doll when I was little. I have a Barbie collection. I'm trying to collect, I haven't gotten a Barbie in a long time. I'm trying to collect Barbies that I had when I was a kid. I had a traumatic experience of like when my Barbies were given away, but that's a story for a different day. If you want to hear it, let me know. But something happened earlier this week, and it was on Twitter. And then I saw something, I don't remember what creator talked about it. And it was a drama commentary channel. That creator started going off on another drama commentary channel, that they've been friends, and now all of a sudden it was like these attacks on Twitter to this other creator. Now, I don't know these people. One is Dustin Daly and the other one is Rich Lux. Rich is from Houston, so, you know, I always like that when somebody is from my hometown, you know. And I kind of looked at that. I'm like, you know, why are you airing your dirty laundry? Why are you making this a public thing? And does this even need to be public? Because it made me uncomfortable. And I really would love to have a sit down and just be like, hey, Dustin, let's talk about this. You know, And maybe he regrets it. I don't know. I don't know. But some of these people who are creators who are younger than me, I just feel like I need to have a sit down with them, and be their YouTube mom and be like, why are you doing this? What is the point? What are you hoping to get out of this? Because I find it to be incredibly unhealthy. I mean, why do you need to do that? Are you seeking attention of some sort? Because when people start stirring the pot, I kind of wonder, what is the point to the pot stirring? Because I think about like Jeffree Star, that dude, good gravy. And even this past week, I saw something because he was doing another, Cash App giveaway, blah, 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 doing good into the world. But yet, we look into his past and there's a lot of problems. And yes, people can change. But the thing is that what he's not doing is addressing things in a way that would be pleasing to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world wants an explanation. And he's, a huge creator. And I kind of think, that would be healing for everyone. Which kind of reminds me of something that I created a video, but I don't think it was from my video. And it was on one of the top Beachbody, the top income earner. And in it, I'm questioning things from her past. Not that what she did, because she did some modeling. It was lingerie modeling. But let me tell you, this lingerie modeling don't look like anything like Victoria's Secret. It's really riding that fine line between a little too much versus being lingerie, in my opinion. And these pictures are so readily available. Anyone can find them. They're just like in Google Pics. I mean, it's just so easy to find. And, I question different things in her past and how that helped her on her, MLM journey. Because typically these high-ranking people, if you start looking at their backstory and not what they tell you, and start kind of going, what's going on? What's the particular skill set this person had that helped propel them? Because it's not just by accident. I mean, there's something typically there. And I want to know what that is, because they say that, oh, where am I trying to go? Oh, anyone can do this. Well, but can they? I mean, or do these skill sets, are they helping in some way that you're just not disclosing? And if you're not disclosing that skill sets help people, then how can everybody do this? I mean, it's just questions, And so this person, now her Instagram is private, and somebody else on Instagram had posted about her, and I don't really remember what. I think it was actually, I saw my video, and I don't think it was anything hateful, but it really is kind of like questioning, well, this person that, did this modeling and stuff, she made it into, I mean, good gravy Marie, she made it into her faith. Wow, that's a reach. And everything about what she was gonna, her story, I'm like, God is calling her to do, she better, and it's like, oh, and it's a hater. You're always a hater. If you critique anything, you're automatically a hater. I don't understand how questioning and critiquing something is hate. I mean, nobody attacked her as a person for what she did, or it's not attacking her. It's like questioning what happened and how did that help you? Because she was able to make over $5,000 in her first 6 months with Beachbody, which is highly unusual. I mean, okay, so this is what it looks like, initially before brush out. I don't have a brush, so I may just kind of like talk to you like this. I may brush it out. I don't know. And I didn't bring the little thing that I got a new, whatever this is called, thing that it's cute. It's called Garden Party. I really like it. I got it from Etsy. So I found it interesting how that was, flipped. And, Jeffree Star flips things too without responding. And that's exactly what this person did, is that they flipped it in a way that makes them look good. And she becomes the victim now. Jeffree Star puts himself in the victim, and then it's like all of this, and then it's like deflect, 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 deflect. So I saw that. But going back to, when you're airing your laundry in public and when you're stirring the pot in some way, I think that can be very, very, very damaging, you know? Now, when I watch Rich, he does, in my opinion, a lot of flexing. Myself, I'm not impressed with flexing. I'm not impressed with your Louis Vuitton bag. I'm not impressed with your Gucci. I'm not impressed if you have 10 cars. I'm not impressed if you live in a great big fancy ass mansion. To quote Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. It just really, really doesn't. I'm simple. I don't need everything over the top. I mean, who really does? Who really needs to have a big ass mansion, 20 fucking cars, the best, the best? Why do people feel that they want that and that they need that? And there's such an emphasis on material possessions. And even this girl who is, on top of Beachbody, she flexes all the live long day. Oh, did you hear that? There's my Alexa. And she goes, oh, I haven't connected her yet since we moved. And so she goes off every now and then. So you probably heard that. Anyway, but I just wonder, that flexing that she does, that doesn't seem very Christian, very, I don't know if that's making sense, but it seems to really be like, what are your values? If you're really looking to help the world and everything, do you have to flex everything? What is the point of flexing? Are you trying to make me feel that my life is so less than and I'm so less than you because I don't have this big ass mansion or anything, that I don't have this huge ass kitchen? Why is it that my life is just, discounted? Why is it that only those who have these things, it seems in their eyes, do you get credibility? I don't understand it. And you see this with the fake gurus too, all the flexing they do. There's always all this flexing to everything. Oh, what is it? John Cressati and his racks and stacks where he uses like a money gun. I mean, it's just insanity. And it's like, what are we doing by putting so much emphasis on conspicuous consumption and flexing, What do you really need? I've got my husband, I've got my stepsons who I haven't seen in a long time because of #COVID. I've got my dogs. And, I know a lot of people, but even before COVID, it's not like I'm running around all over the place like I did when I was younger. I mean, I'm very content with pretty much being a shut-in. It's like, I don't need a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot, maybe because, as an only child, I always entertained myself. Maybe it's related to that too. I don't know. But I think we have a problem in our society with people feeling the need that they need to always have more and go after more and more and more. Now, there's nothing wrong with bettering yourself. See, it's still like all little bouncy curls. There's nothing wrong with bettering yourself, but I think it's because that's what's gotten people into trouble, like, with credit card debt and stuff, is feeling like, well, I better buy this, I better buy that. But do you really need that? I mean, do you? What is that going to do for you? Why do you need everything to be designer? Is it really any better? I don't think so. I mean, some things are maybe, but some things not so much. Okay, so this looks like a whole bunch of curls before I do anything with it, which I would like to do. What I was going to try to do last week was a poodle thing, which I'm going to need to like grab some of this and then pin some of this down, but that seems like a whole lot of bother. So I don't know what I'll do, but here's a bunch of curls, whole bunch of curls. Um, and I don't know if I'm making any sense with any of this because it's not like I have a script because this is me unscripted, just me talking to you, you know, really just me talking to you. We're just having coffee and having a chit chat. But I think it's really unhealthy because, okay, going back to the Dustin Daily thing, because then other people start chiming in because then people want to know the dirt. And I think wanting to know the dirt, and then wanting to, cancel culture. That's what I was going to tie it into because people are also, in addition to like flex culture, there's this cancel culture as well. Like if people who are flexing too much or doing things that like people are like done with it, it's like, well, then we're going to cancel you. And I think that's very toxic in and of itself. I think flexing and cancel, both things are very toxic. And I think it's like this, this worm that gets into your brain, and one person starts to cancel someone and then somebody else jumps on that train. And before you know it, that train has left the building. And you don't always know the full story because you only know what you've seen on the internet. And you don't even know these people. But yet you get so involved. And I'm saying you, this is just the all-inclusive universal you. It's not you as a human being, but just, people just get so involved with people they don't know, which goes to the parasocial relationship. You may watch me and feel like you know me, but we aren't actual friends. Now, some of you, I've had a lot of conversations with you. Some of you may be my patrons, and we've had lots of conversations. And so you know me more, and I know you more, But if you're just some rando person watching me, or if I'm just, some rando person watching someone else, I don't know that creator. But yet we feel like we get to know people. And so these people on the internet come into people's defense, other people come in to cancel, and it just creates so much tension. And we're already living in such a tense world. And that brings me to another point, is something that I think that we need to do is like give each other a little bit more space. And this brings it back to what that meeting I had. So in that meeting I had, one of my colleagues mentioned something about mental health in there. And I don't remember all the things that he said in it, but, was brave enough to basically say that how he's being impacted. And that's the thing, is we are all being impacted by what's going on in the world, whether we want to admit it or not. And none of us know how to handle it. None of us have been through a pandemic before. And that, add on top of that, all this fuel with the racial things and the political things, the economics, all of this stuff going on, it's very, very tense. And I think people are quicker to lash out, especially on the internet, because boy, I've gotten some like, wow, people call me a hater all the time when I'm doing my anti-MLM videos. I'm told horrible things. And, you got to have a thick skin. And there are some things that I've seen sometimes I'm like, wow, and it kind of hurts for a minute, but it's more about that person. But so if you're on the internet and you're saying terrible things about another creator, about another person, we'll just put another person. If you're on Twitter, whatever you're at, and you're like, what is that doing to you and your psyche? And if you continue to engage in that, what is that doing to you? And I think people become desensitized. And right now, I feel like we need to give everybody a bit more grace, a bit more space, because the world has changed. And the other day, I was talking to my husband. Before we moved, he coined it the biscuit circuit, because there was a dog over by us and her name's Biscuit. And so we take the dogs out and we were walking. And at the time, I think the rodeo here in Houston was still going on, but South by Southwest in Austin had been canceled. And so we're talking about that. And at that point, and I can remember standing on the corner before we turned to walk along where Biscuit is. And I just remember it felt like a shift in the world. Now, I've been working from home even before COVID. And then another time when the world shifted for me, because I was asking him, like, basically, like, are you going to be able to continue working? He thought, oh, psh, everything's good, everything's fine. Well, he came home early that day, way early. And that's when everything shut down. Now, we lived through Harvey together, and yeah, the city shut down, but then, reopened and we went back to life. But this was different. And I felt another shift. It was like shit just got real. What's going to happen? What's going on in our world? And this is back in March. But I can just really remember those two things. I remember him coming in the door, and it's kind of like, well, what are you doing here? And it just changed. So everybody has gone through some major change, some more than others, okay? Some more than others. And anyone who is on the internet that you are watching, consuming their videos, or maybe you're following them on Twitter or Instagram, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's going on in their life unless they tell you. And I hope people aren't, and some people do overshare, and I worry about that too, But all of this is impacting us. And no one's really talking much about how it could be impacting us. And I think that's what can make people more volatile right now. Like this morning on the news, there was something, somebody was killed over a parking space. Now, this has happened in the past, I think. I don't really know off the top of my head. But it's like people are being set off quicker. That's why we need to give them that space, additional grace, and give yourself that too. Because everybody is walking on eggshells and you just don't know. And is it really worth it to go off? Is it really worth it for people to cancel other people? How is that going to impact them? And how is it going to impact that person they don't even know? And they may not even know their story, and they don't know what's going on in their life. I don't know, these are just things I'm thinking about. I don't know if anybody will watch this or if anybody will care. But, I do care about people. I do care about the world. I do care about how people are feeling. And I do care about the fact that people are very quick to react without taking a moment to step back and reflect and think about their actions first. And I'm not perfect. Oh, please, I'm not perfect. Because, I'm susceptible to this too, because I'm human. We're all human beings, all going through this very unprecedented thing. But we have to do something to heal. We do. Even if that healing is not going to be immediate, but it's like starting the process, just like how my company is starting to do some things to recognize all these differences even more and celebrate differences more and bring people together and talk about things more. Because if we just continue on la, 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 and we view everything from our own perspective and our own experience without considering that of anyone else, how are we going to evolve, How are we going to be able to open minds? And there's going to be some minds that no matter what, they're just going to shut on down and they're not going to be open to anything. And that is unfortunate. I think they're missing out. But then, it also could be, there might be things that I'm just going to shut out and I don't even know it. Maybe we all do. And we don't know it until somebody else points it out to us. I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to know, what is your experience with all of this? I mean, are you feeling extra tense? Are you noticing people being a little bit snippier online? Are you noticing them being snippier in person, or are people being more kind? I really want people to be kinder to each other. And it goes back to, these keyboard warriors and these people who are hating on the internet and canceling people, but also at the same time, all these people flexing. I want that shit shut down. That stuff. There's it's just really, to me, right now, it's so inappropriate to flex on your wealth because there's so many people who, are just trying to figure out how are they going to make it through the next day? How are they going to pay rent? How are they going to just survive? And, that makes me think of the stinking Hun and like, oh, the mindset, let's just change. Oh, gosh. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if this makes any sense. And I'm going to see if I can come up with a hairdo. I don't know what I'm going to do today, but that's what my hair looks like when I use these and I take it out. This is before the brush out. And yeah, so have a great day. And thanks for spending time with me. Listening to me to sit here just yabber with like no real no starting point or end point, but that's what I do over here. I just talk about whatever's kind of coming up in me, and sometimes it's about things that are drama. Something I don't know. It's what I'm doing, and maybe people will like it. Maybe they won't. Maybe nobody cares. I'm, maybe I'm doing it just for myself, but it doesn't really matter because I feel better now that I've talked about it. Even though you're not responding to me, I feel better just opening my mouth and talking about it. Maybe that's something that we can do, Maybe you can just openly talk to yourself about what's going on. Oh, and about the buddy of mine, my colleague at work who said this stuff about, mental health. I reached out to him, sent him an instant message, and I'm basically like, hey, I'm here for you. Let me check on you. Because for someone to be brave enough to put something like that in a group chat with so many people in the company present like that took some balls. And I have to, say hats off to you for having the courage to do that. And I think that's something that people are doing, is holding back how they're feeling about what's going on in the world. Because it's like, people are scared to say how they're being impacted. Because how are they going to be perceived? What will people think? If someone says, I'm a little freaked out, what will people think? If you openly admit, I'm worried about being able to put food on the table, what will people think? Maybe if we actually have conversations with each other, we won't have to do things like flex or cancel, Maybe that's the answer. Let me know what your thoughts are. Anyway, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And remember, you're beautiful and I love you.